Many people are surprised to learn that high triglycerides and high blood sugar are closely connected. They often think of them as separate issues, one related to fat and the other to sugar. However, they frequently appear together because they share a common root cause. This underlying problem is a condition known as insulin resistance. Understanding this single issue is the key to seeing how these two health markers are linked. It's a fundamental breakdown in how your body manages energy, and it sets the stage for a cascade of metabolic problems that can affect your long-term health in significant ways. So, what exactly is insulin resistance? Think of insulin as a key. Its job is to unlock your body's cells, allowing glucose or sugar from your bloodstream to enter and be used for energy. When your body is working correctly, this process is smooth and efficient. It keeps your blood sugar levels stable. In insulin resistance, however, your cells stop responding properly to insulin's signal. The locks on your cells become rusty and difficult to open. As a result, glucose can't get into the cells easily, and it starts to build up in your bloodstream, leading to high blood sugar. This resistance forces your pancreas, the organ that produces insulin, to work overtime. It pumps out more and more insulin to try to overcome the cell's stubbornness and force them to take in the glucose. For a while, this compensation might work, and your blood sugar levels may stay within a normal range. But this is a temporary fix. Over time, the pancreas can become exhausted and may not be able to keep up with the high demand for insulin. This is when prediabetes and eventually type 2 diabetes can develop, as blood sugar levels rise uncontrollably. It is this same state of insulin resistance that also drives up your triglycerides. When your cells are resistant to insulin, they are not taking in glucose for energy. At the same time, your liver, which also responds to insulin, becomes dysregulated. Instead of using glucose properly, the liver starts converting the excess sugar in your blood into fat. This newly created fat is packaged into particles called triglycerides. These triglycerides are then released into your bloodstream, causing your triglyceride levels to climb. So the same cellular resistance that leads to high blood sugar is also triggering the overproduction of triglycerides. The connection between high blood sugar and high triglycerides doesn't stop at their shared origin. These two conditions can actually make each other worse over time, creating a damaging feedback loop. When you have high levels of triglycerides in your blood, these fats can be deposited in organs where they don't belong, such as the liver and muscles. This buildup of fat can interfere with the cell's ability to respond to insulin, making insulin resistance even more severe. This in turn makes it even harder for your body to manage blood sugar, causing glucose levels to rise further. As blood sugar levels climb higher due to worsening insulin resistance, the cycle continues. The pancreas keeps trying to compensate by producing more insulin, leading to a state of hyperinsulinemia, or excess insulin in the blood. This high level of insulin sends a powerful signal to the liver to keep converting any available sugar into fat. The liver obediently takes the excess glucose from the bloodstream and ramps up its production of triglycerides. These newly minted triglycerides are then sent back out into the circulation, further elevating your triglyceride levels and reinforcing the entire negative cycle. It's important to understand a minor detail in this process. Triglycerides themselves are made of a glycerol backbone and 3 fatty acids. When triglycerides are broken down for energy, the glycerol component can be converted back into glucose by the liver. While this process, known as gluconeogenesis, does contribute a small amount to your overall blood sugar level, it is not the main driver of the problem. The primary issue remains the overwhelming effect of insulin resistance on both glucose and fat metabolism, not the small amount of sugar created from breaking down fats. This cycle highlights why just focusing on blood sugar or just focusing on triglycerides is often not enough. They are two sides of the same metabolic coin. Addressing one without considering the other is like trying to fix a leak in a boat with a bucket instead of patching the hole. The underlying issue, insulin resistance, will continue to cause problems. This is why a comprehensive approach that targets the root cause is so crucial for breaking the cycle and restoring metabolic health. Several common drivers can trigger or worsen insulin resistance, pushing both blood sugar and triglyceride levels into the danger zone. Diet plays a massive role in this process. A diet high in processed foods, sugary drinks, and refined carbohydrates provides your body with a constant flood of quick-digesting sugar. This forces the pancreas to release large amounts of insulin repeatedly, which can lead to your cells becoming desensitized over time. Similarly, a diet high in unhealthy fats can contribute to the fat buildup in your organs, directly worsening insulin resistance and fueling the metabolic dysfunction. Obesity, particularly excess fat stored around the abdomen, is another major factor. This type of fat, known as visceral fat, is not just a passive storage depot. It is metabolically active and releases inflammatory substances that directly interfere with insulin's signaling pathways. This makes it a powerful driver of insulin resistance. A sedentary lifestyle further complicates the issue. Physical activity helps your muscles use glucose for energy and improves their sensitivity to insulin. When you are inactive, your muscles become less efficient at taking up sugar from the blood, placing more strain on your insulin system. It is also important to acknowledge the role of genetics. Some individuals may have a genetic predisposition that makes them more susceptible to developing insulin resistance. If you have a family history of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, or metabolic syndrome, you may be at a higher risk. However, it is crucial to remember that genes are not your destiny. Lifestyle factors often act as the trigger that turns on these genetic predispositions. A healthy lifestyle can significantly mitigate these inherited risks, keeping your metabolic health in check despite your family history. Ultimately, high triglycerides should be seen as a critical warning sign. They are not just a number on a lab report, they are an indicator of underlying metabolic dysfunction. High triglycerides are a key component of what we call metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions that dramatically increases your risk for future health problems. Specifically, they signal a significantly higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease, including heart attacks and strokes. They are a red flag telling you that your body's energy management system is under stress and needs attention now. The good news is that you have the power to break this cycle and improve your metabolic health. The first and most impactful step is to modify your diet. Focus on whole, unprocessed foods like vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and healthy fats found in nuts, seeds, and olive oil. It is especially important to reduce your intake of refined carbohydrates and added sugars. This means cutting back on white bread, sugary cereals, sodas, and sweets. Swapping these for high-fiber carbohydrates like whole grains and legumes will help stabilize your blood sugar and reduce the burden on your insulin system. Managing your weight is another critical component of this strategy. Even a modest weight loss of 5 to 10% of your body weight can have a profound impact on improving insulin sensitivity and lowering both triglyceride and blood sugar levels. This is especially true if you carry excess weight around your abdomen. Combining dietary changes with regular physical activity is the most effective way to achieve and maintain a healthy weight. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise, such as brisk walking, or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise, like running, each week. Beyond diet and exercise, other lifestyle adjustments can make a big difference. Limiting alcohol consumption is important, as alcohol can be converted into triglycerides in the liver and can also contribute to weight gain. Managing stress is another key factor. Chronic stress can raise cortisol levels, a hormone that can increase blood sugar and contribute to insulin resistance over time. Practices like meditation, deep breathing exercises, or yoga can help manage stress effectively. Quitting smoking is also essential, as smoking damages blood vessels and worsens overall metabolic health. Finally, it is vital to be proactive about your health. Get regular checkups with your healthcare provider and ask for a lipid panel and a blood sugar test to know your numbers. These tests can identify problems early, often before you experience any symptoms. If your levels are high, work with your doctor to create a personalized plan. They can provide guidance on lifestyle changes and, if necessary, discuss medication options. Remember, high triglycerides and high blood sugar are not separate enemies but signs of a single underlying issue you can control. Taking action today is your best defense.